Hello everyone, you love Nintendo, I love them, we all love them. But does Nintendo love us? I mean, some of us have been dedicated to Nintendo for most, if not our entire lives. It would be nice if Nintendo shared that same respect toward us, but as it turns out, that isn't really the case. While Nintendo does try hard to make their fans happy, they don't really have the best track record with being honest to their die-hard fans. So in hopes of making this relationship more honest, here are the top 10 lies Nintendo has told their fans.
The Game Boy came out in 1989 and was an unstoppable juggernaut. Years later, we got the Game Boy Color and eventually the Game Boy Advanced. Boasting one of the best libraries of any console, portable or otherwise, it looked like Nintendo had struck gold once again. However, only a few years after the release of the GBA, Nintendo decided to announce their next handheld console, though when doing so, they were a bit cautious. Not wanting to upset the dedicated fans who had only just invested in the GBA, Nintendo did what any smart business would do and told one of the biggest lies their marketing team could come up with. This lie? The DS is an all-new third pillar that will be supported alongside the GBA and the GameCube. Yes, even though the DS is a more powerful handheld that also has full backwards compatibility with the GBA, it was, quote, not a successor. What? As with every console, Nintendo did continue to support the GBA for a while, just as they would do later with the DS, with games like Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 coming out quite a ways into the 3DS's lifecycle. This may sound familiar to you, since Nintendo is giving us the exact same message once again for the NX and the Wii U, but we'll get to that later.
Back when the Wii U was first announced in 2011, Nintendo bragged about all the great third-party support and third-party exclusives they had. To keep this short, EA cut all the support for the Wii U and are still considering whether or not to support the NX, and I currently play Zelda U and Rayman Legends on my PS4. Both of which were supposed to be console exclusives. Your move, Nintendo.
Back in 2011, Nintendo released the successor to the DS, the rightfully named 3DS, and immediately fans speculated that just as the DS had received multiple models, such as the DSi and DSi XL, the 3DS would also receive an XL model with a bigger screen. So fans kind of held off from buying it until an improved model would inevitably be announced. In 2012, rumors did leak that strengthened the concerns that fans had, and it even prompted a statement from Miyamoto where he straight up lied to us all. Here's what he said: "I really feel like I'm satisfied with the 3DS hardware as it is. I feel like it's the best for this generation. What we're thinking about right now is probably going to be for a future generation of handheld." But lo and behold, only a few short months later, Nintendo officially announced the 3DS XL. This is why I'm a fan of the sometimes frustrating response that we get from other publishers. We do not comment on speculation or rumors. At least then, we're not being lied to.
When the Wii U was launched, it showed off a lot of potential. Being able to play off TV and the gamepad itself was a great feature for those who didn't want to tie up the TV or wanted to game while having some background noise. Nintendo also showed off a lot of great ways the Wii U's gamepad could work as a second screen for the main game. So imagine the potential it could have had when Nintendo announced that the Wii U would support multiple gamepads and that they would be supporting dual gamepads in 2014. Well, 2014 came around, and when asked about the feature, Miyamoto stated that dual gamepad functionality wasn't a part of Nintendo's objectives on the short term. I guess they needed to find a way to sell consumers on how one gamepad could improve gameplay before they started marketing second ones. It's now the end of the Wii U life cycle, and not a single game supports multiple gamepads, nor you can even walk into a store and buy one.
This last lie is also one of the most recent. A rumor or leak, I suppose time will tell, much like some of the ones mentioned earlier, stated that the Wii U would end production this year. Nintendo, of course, quickly came out and stated that this was false. We have no hard evidence that the Wii U is ending production, but if you look at the facts, it's only logical. The Wii U is nearing the end of its life cycle. Last year, Nintendo went to E3 and said that they were only showing off games that they were going to release over the next few months, or throughout the rest of the year, which we now know to mean that they have nothing else for the Wii U, since all or most of the development teams have moved over to the NX. After all, it would have been pretty obvious if they had showed NX footage of upcoming games. Now we're moving into E3 once again, and Nintendo is only showing off Zelda. Why? Well, because Zelda is the only big game they have left for the Wii U, and even that is being ported over to the NX. Nintendo finally came out and announced that the NX is going to launch in March of 2017, and it would make sense for them to stop production of the Wii U and start production of the NX. After all, I'm sure they must have tons of warehouses full of tons of Wii U consoles that are just never going to be sold. So the big question is, why would they continue to produce and manufacture a console that they know no one's going to buy, especially now when they have a new console launch just over the horizon?
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to check my websites, here they are. Hope you like this video and see you next time.